Good news. Next week, Chuck Schumer's doing Broadway. Mitch is doing Lobster. Nancy's doing Pot, Bill. And, at this point, even Shamu thinks this is crazy. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LA. I hope you're good and safe. This is Afternoons, always at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Starts with a check, then goes to hazard pay, then FPUC, and finally rent. This video will cover both rent and EIDL as we're merging EIDL into Afternoons broadcast as well. I'll be answering some of your 105 great comments on yesterday's video. So drop your comments below. They may be featured in tomorrow's recording. And go to the front channel and subscribe. Also, like this channel. It will help in the algorithm as more likes are hit on this video. Exciting details overnight about rent and about EIDL. And about how it can get you through the pandemic. Just minutes ago on an earlier video on Afternoons LALATE, I read a comment on air, which I'll be doing in a second for others for this video. And the person talked about when the pandemic hit, he basically lost his life savings in his business. And he applied for PUA, and it's been held up, and it's been slowed down. Ironically, nowhere in his comment did he mention he had ever applied for EIDL. It remains to me... It seems to be still that EIDL is that program that a lot of people never thought that you could apply for, never heard of. It was simply a quiet program that people just never heard of and never thought to apply for. And so if you're sitting here for about a rent video, there's rent grants, rent aid, rent assistance, then there's mortgage forbearance, there's rent eviction moratoriums, but then there's also EIDL. I'm going to cover all that right now. First, rent aid. A lot of cities and states have rent aid. And the strange thing as we sit here today, ironically in September, is that I have been detailing on all throughout the day, and will continue to detail tonight, that states have upwards of $150 billion of CARES Act 1 money allocated to them for rent aid and other relief that they have not used. And so now they're scrambling to use the money because if they don't, they have to return the money. So what you will see, and you're only going to hear that from me, you're not going to hear from anyone else, you're going to see an upsurgence on a state and local level of grant programs you have never heard before just right now. The reason why is that state and local governments are actually saying in news reports they're having emergency meetings to pass bills to say on a city or county level to say, hey, let's use this money for this grant program. And they're doing it right now because they have to use the money. When we talk about how much money they've used, that's a scandal of the day. They've used sometimes less than 10% of the money allocated to them. So they have fortunes of money sitting around that was supposed to be given to you for things like rent, and they haven't done it, and now they're rushing to do it. So keep your eyes and ears on full alert all the time, every day, as to whether there's a grant program going live in your city or county. This will be offered by your city or your county. You do that by going on Google and Googling your city and county plus the name of grant or rent. That's the first thing. The second thing is eviction moratoriums. Now, an eviction moratorium was issued by CDC over, a week ago by executive order of the president, weeks before that. And what I detailed in earlier videos, but I won't be doing on this video, is that you need to go to the CDC. It's in the descriptions to this video. There's a link in the description of this video. You need to download the order and you need to go through the steps to make sure you have applied for all the respective steps. The CDC eviction moratorium order is not automatic. It doesn't apply to everyone. And if it does apply to you, you simply can't back and says, I can't be evicted, I'm done. No, you have to go do stuff. And doing this stuff is not a lot of work, but you have to do it. If you don't, you're not protected. Finally, federal eviction, federal mortgage forbearance protection against being foreclosed upon if you rent your home. There is federally backed ordinances in place. They're not stemming from CDC, but they're not comprehensive. And so if you own an apartment building and you're fearful you're going to be foreclosed upon, you own a commercial building and you're fearful you're going to be foreclosed upon, or you own a house and you're fearful you're going to be foreclosed upon, watch the videos every day on this channel that describe what's happening with foreclosures, but generally they're following some relief that's very limited for certain federally backed mortgages. It's not as comprehensive as you want to have it to be. So as you're sitting here today, is there other relief? Yes, absolutely. What is the other relief? Well, there's the Main Street Lending Program, which I haven't done in a long time. I had a lot of videos on that back in the day. Just go on this channel and go to the video page of this channel and just search for the word Main Street Lending Program, or go into the top toolbar of YouTube and type in Main Street Lending Program plus LALATE, and you'll see the videos. These are loans that can be given to you if you're upwards of $250,000 or more. I mean, they're great loans. Some people didn't like them because they are so big, but they're great loans. But the loan that is really most applicable to the situation today is EIDL. It is administered by SBA. It's on the SBA's website. It's sba.gov. And they specifically gave us guidance several weeks ago that said people who are in the real estate industry may apply for this loan if your real estate income was went down because of the pandemic. So if you're an apartment building owner, go apply. If you're a commercial building owner, go apply. If you're a homeowner and do Airbnb, go apply. If you're an apartment renter and do Airbnb, go apply. These things are there for you. It's based upon a simple calculation, the loan amount. It's based upon your gross revenue, 2019, minus cost of goods sold, divided by 2. Where's this number? It's on line 1 and line 2 of your 2019 tax return. Very, very simple. You need about a 7... my brain just went out. So you need a decent credit score. My brain just, it's talking too much about Nancy Pelosi's pot bill. You need a good credit score. So watch my videos. I'm on credit scores, Experian Vantage 3.0, and get that done. How quickly could this money come to you? Well, SBA routes EIDL money to you in incredible ways, and the money could be routed to you within, 2-3 days, less than 7 days. It comes very quickly. How much money can you get? You can get up to $150,000. And when could you use, and how much money does it cost you? This is the great news. The money doesn't cost you anything the first year. There's no interest or principal due in the first year. It's a 30-something year fixed loan, 3-point-something%, and you can get that right away. Now, as you sit here, are there other options for you out there as well? Yes. I mean, if you ran this as a business, and the business has, lost, not done as much income as it normally would do because of the pandemic, you may qualify for PUA. But you dropped some incredible questions yesterday about rent, so let me get to them right now. 105 of them. Debbie Rowland, and the politicians spend more time worrying about helping American people instead of the power trip, we would have been in a better situation. In the meantime, Americans are wondering, where's the next meal coming from? Very well said. Glenda Cooper. Why is Trump not signing the executive order to help us? We live in a very small town and everything is closed and we need help now. Very well said. As detailed on this channel in the issue about staying local, having all this money, the big concern is that staying local was designated this money, $150 billion in CARES Act 1, but did not, in some cases, have to pass the money to smaller towns in that state. So if you're in a small town, you may not have seen relief come to you in great amounts from the states that got it, from your state that got it. LA, can you start a petition to have Congress pass a stimulus package? I can. I think there's other instruments that are more effective to getting this done than a piece of paper and say, hey, here's our piece of paper. I just don't think petitions really go anywhere. It's like, oh, there's a petition. Thank you so much. I see, oh, okay, it has a lot of signatures. Thank you. The reason why is a petition is one piece of paper. in one time. They look at it and that's it. Hitting people with videos, hitting people with tweets, hitting people all the time, hitting news reporters, putting the story on Frontline News, tagging news reporters. So CNBC, when they put Mnuchin on at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, they ask him about the stimulus check. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done it? It makes the news reporters more active in the interview, so that they really push the questions as opposed to saying, oh, so you didn't pass the stimulus package. Okay, next question. It's just sort of like a throw out. They need to really be hard on the subject matter. And of course, protests are really the biggest thing that are effective. Tamara Young, hello there. May we pray for an executive order because my head is spinning. Balua Cardo, hey, Purple Power community. Everyone's having a great evening. Stay safe. You too. Jennifer Wise, hello, LA. You should be in Congress. They need someone that tells the truth and get it forward with us. Yes, they just keep on lying to us. It's really quite discouraging. Thank you for telling us the true facts and explaining everything to us. Yes, my job is to make things very clear. Some of these things are confusing. They're confusing even for me. Sometimes I have to read them several times to even grasp them. But my job is to make things clear for everyone. Wanda Burrows, why don't they realize we have bills to pay and we like to eat? I don't think they think people eat. It's crazy. I agree 100% with you. Lisa McKenney, hello LA, from LI to LA, Long Island. Thank you for non-stop reporting. Well, thank you. Thank you for your non-stop viewership. Shannon Marcucci. So if you own a home, paying your mortgage on time barely, you'd have to be in default to qualify for any mortgage assistance if there were any that was passed in a future bill. Just curious. That's a really good question. No. The first CARES Act under mortgage forbearance said you did not have to pay principal. If you could not pay principal or interest, they could not foreclose on you. Basically, it does not forgive you for your obligation to pay principal or interest. It just says they cannot foreclose upon you because you have not. Patrick Spicer, hey, LA, top reporting as always. Well, thank you, Patrick. Lisa, the end justifies the means, Machiavelli. Well, yes. Kimberly Bray, hello, Purple Power family. LA, we love you for all the info coming. Well, thank you. Lisa McKenney, it's time for everyone to go think outside the box. Amen. Juan Manuel Flores Jr., I just thought they'd signed already. Something, can't they get evicted? I rent an apartment in Corpus Christi, Texas. Am I safe or not? You need to go to the description of this video, go to the link for the CDC order and download that order and go through the steps and watch my videos over the last 2 days at this time slot. I go through the application for you. Deborah Cornforth, don't help people with paying their property taxes. No help for us. Amen. I mean, this is really, I detailed that when this channel started. It's sort of like they help some, but they don't help others. Ava Swoop, LA, if you write up a petition on your channel about stimulus, I will sign it. Okay. Melissa Vereb, I forgot to mention that this was last month. I can afford to pay rent with all the other bills. Teresa North, thank LA. We love you for all you do. I love you for tuning in. Clara, that's what property owners in Texas said. They can't sustain without collecting rent, just like you said. Yes, I mean, it's, I don't know why politicians, many of which are in the real estate industry or own rental properties or rent or own homes or rent homes, they just don't seem to act like they understand it when they clearly do. If someone doesn't pay the rent, then they face eviction and they're being thrown on the street during COVID and get COVID. Then the property owner doesn't get the rent. Property owners not paying their bills. The property owner is going to lose the property to the bank. The bank is going to foreclose. The bank is going to go under because the banks are picking up all these foreclosed properties which they don't need. It's just a big domino effect. Ricardo Hall, I'm still in need. Help with me. EIDL recon. Oh no, are you in the private, Ricardo? Ricardo is my very earliest viewer. I mean, there's a couple names I remember from day one. You would always comment about my shirts. This shirt is bringing it back old school. This is how I used to dress. I'm really doused in high potent flea spray. I got one bite during one of the recordings about a few minutes ago on my arm, but I don't know if it was from here or yesterday. So I'm bringing it back old school, how I used to dress. Short sleeve shirts is much more comfortable. So Ricardo, you need to get into the private. The link is in the description to this, into the pinned comment. Laura Canchon was working part-time when COVID started. Now I'm working part-time. I only get 8 hours a week. Do I qualify for LWA because I'm getting under $100 of EDD payments? Yeah, that's fair. So if FPUC come back, why you be getting them? So Laura, you have double questions there. First, if you were working part-time earlier in March, go get that retroactive benefits, and that's under FPUC, which is $600. It has nothing to do with the $100 threshold. Remember, if you qualify for benefits from March to July, that $100 threshold was not an issue then. It was FPUC, not LWA. That's the $600 per week. Ashley Smith, good evening, LA. Well, thank you. SoCal Renee, who's always on this channel. Hello, LA. Hope you're on a good Saturday. Dolores, why don't we start off with the stimulus when the Democrats get in $2,000 a month? I love that. Magic Laura, Purple Haze, Jimi Hendrix would approve of that, I know. Mary Glenn, Shannon McMillan, beautiful. I love you. Well, thank you. Aloha, hello, Malaho, thank you. Okay, now I'm getting my words down. From Leah, Angela Ball, thank you for all you do for us. Can't wait until I get my check. Well, thank you. Tom Hatt, we need more updates. Keep them coming. Well, thank you. 7 per day. Diane Blake, anything new with the rent? Not on the federal level, but the state level, yes. And the comments keep on coming. I can't cover all of these, but boy, a lot of great comments from yesterday. If you have comments in today's video about rent or EIDL grant or EIDL loan, drop in the comments below. We may feature them tomorrow's recording. Also, go to the front of this channel, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to reach 250,000 subscribers, and we're almost there, about 1,000 and 1,500 away. What an incredible moment for you and the Purple Power and the Bombshell and the EIDL and the Blaine 666. And as always, like this video. It really helps with the algorithm. Coming up this evening is Evenings LA. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay LA for more.